Right now on the National Weather Desk, Nicole isn't done yet.
Eaten away from the wind and the rain and the waves of Nicole.
The former hurricane is working its way up the East Coast, and we are there to show you the impact.
As we hit high tide, more flooding is expected.
Florida assesses the damage Nicole left behind.
A lot of damage due to the storm surge, and the park remains closed.
On this Veterans Day, we look at the role the military plays in training meteorologists.
You were actually made to hit the ground running in terms of being a forecaster.
It's the day many skiers in Utah have been waiting to arrive.
Catch me, first chair, absolutely.
And we'll see if the remnants of Nicole will impact any of tomorrow's college football games.
From our nation's capital, this is a special edition of the National Weather Desk, tracking Nicole.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Veronica Johnson. Coming up, ski season gets underway. We honor veterans with a look at the connection to weather and an explanation about an unusual purple haze in the sky. But we want to start with the latest on Tropical Depression Nicole. As the storm moves north, it's leaving behind a path of destruction. Volusia County, Florida, bore the brunt of the storm's wrath. You can see here the beachfront homes destroyed by wind and water. Residents returned to try and salvage what they could. Officials here call the damage unpredictable. Nicole was the first hurricane to hit the U.S. in November since 1985. And Florida crews are rushing to repair a 6 to 7 mile stretch of Highway A1A. That's that main road through the beach communities in St. Johns County, just south of Jacksonville. Portions of the road collapsed as Nicole battered the region. Crews are removing large chunks of debris and asphalt, and many of the dunes that protected the road were compromised during Hurricane Ian. Well, here is the very latest. As of this morning, at least 5 deaths are blamed on the storm in Florida, including 2 people electrocuted by a downed power line. 50,000 Florida power customers are still without power this morning. That's down from the 300,000 of yesterday. And 24 hotels and condos were deemed unsafe in Volusia County, leading to the evacuation of hundreds of people. Florida airports closed during the storm, expected to get back to normal operations today. Attention now turns to the rest of the East Coast as what is left of Nicole heads to the north. So let's take a look at the map here. There's where the storm system is now, the center of it at least, still, believe it or not, south of Atlanta, Georgia. And look at this, the rain extending all the way up into D.C., Maryland, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Kentucky, so much of the East Coast now getting a lot of rain with the storm, and it's still putting out some pretty good winds around 35, 40 miles an hour. And tornado watches up for much of the Virginia, North Carolina area. At least half of North Carolina under a tornado watch until 3 p.m. And we've already seen some tornado warnings issued around Asheboro, North Carolina earlier today. Look at the storm. It goes all the way up, as mentioned, into areas of Pennsylvania. That's some 700 miles. So it still could pack a punch with some wind and damage and even isolated tornadoes. And the possibility of flooding mainly in the mountains. We've got a tornado watch that will last just past midnight right now for Southwest Virginia and for the Carolina mountains. Now let's head back outdoors to see what impact Nicole is having this morning. We've got reports from Myrtle Beach, West Palm Beach, and Charleston. We start in Charleston, South Carolina, and reporter Ann Emerson.
I'm here at Breach Inlet, South Carolina. I'm on the Sullivan's Island side. We're on the Barrier Islands. Just across the way is Isle of Palms. Just to give you an idea of the erosion that we're seeing from Nicole, take a look at this. Just a day ago, we're told this was flat area, and it's really just eaten away from the wind and the rain and the waves of Nicole. It's taking a beating out here. A lot of erosion and a lot of concern from the locals as well that this is such a late storm to be seeing this kind of damage. A lot of debris has already come up from the tide, so they're keeping a close eye on this and making sure they don't have too much more erosion in this area. Now, another thing that the city officials are doing is they put on extra staffing to make sure if they do have any problems over the next day, they'll be able to handle it. Reporting from Breach Inlet, South Carolina, I'm Ann Emerson for the National Weather Desk.
So far, so good here on our South Carolina coast. We are in Garden City, just south of Myrtle Beach, and people here are relieved with the minimal impacts, especially since we're still recovering from Hurricane Ian. Now, the good news is these man-made dunes are still standing. These were constructed after Hurricane Ian tore down all the dunes along our coast. Now, as we hit high tide, more flooding is expected, but that's typical for the area we're in because it's very low lying. The biggest threat right now is tornadoes. We are on a tornado watch through the afternoon. In Garden City, I'm Amanda Kinsid.
In Florida, Volusia County was especially hard hit by Nicole. The seawall and the dunes damaged by Ian in September were further damaged by Nicole. This is video here of Wilbur by the sea, and you can see many beachside homes collapsed into the Atlantic Ocean. One man said he was standing on the beach as he watched his house fall into the water. Further beach erosion is likely to damage even more homes. And the storm apparently unearthed human remains on the beach, and it's actually the third time remains have been discovered after a hurricane. Right now, it's believed those remains belong to Native Americans. They could be centuries old. Officials say the bones will be processed and preserved. And further south along the Florida coast, other communities are picking up the pieces, still feeling the impacts from Nicole. Carrie Duffy is in Fort Pierce with that part of the story.
We're here at Jetty Park in Fort Pierce, which sustained a lot of damage due to the storm surge, and the park remains closed as of right now, and it plans to stay this way until told otherwise. You can see barriers in place right there blocking the entrance to it. Caution tape also in place to keep people out. Here's why. Storm surge caused erosion like this. You can see just how uneven the walkway and pavement is. Large cracks in the concrete and picnic areas. The grill certainly not supposed to look like this. Debris is also scattered all around the parking lots. And as of right now, there is no clear timeline as far as how long Jetty Park will remain closed. In the meantime, we're told the beaches here in Fort Pierce are due to reopen at some point today. Reporting in Fort Pierce, Florida, I'm Cara Duffy.
Viewers also sent us their videos and photos of Nicole. This is from Laurie Hearing in Florida. It shows the water coming to the top of the seawall, but not going over it. The water is typically 4 feet lower. And we snagged this still shot from video that we received from Charleston, South Carolina. It shows flooding along a street near the Ashley River. And this screen grab really here shows the flooded docks in the Vero Beach, Florida area. The person who shot the original video said it looked like things were a foot underwater. We'd love to see your photos. Visit the station's website and click Chime In to share. It's just that easy. If Nicoles Path has you feeling a little deja vu, there may be a reason why. Meteorologist Ed Petrowski, he did a little digging. And check this out. So on the bottom are the tracks of Ian and Nicole. They hit 43 days apart. Now look at the top part of your screen. At those paths of Charlie and Jean back in 2004, quite similar tracks and also 43 days apart. Quite the coincidence indeed. Well, elsewhere in the country, the weather is completely different. In parts of North Carolina, they've been getting a lot of snow. 18 inches fell at Bismarck Airport. Even in a place that typically gets a lot of snow, driving can be a bit difficult. Stalled cars were everywhere yesterday, but the storm did bring out the best in people, as reporter Joel Crane shows us.
North Dakota nice is the philosophy many Bismarck residents are living by today. Nathan Scott spent extra time clearing his neighbor's sidewalk in addition to his own.
We live 2 houses down, so we're just polite and do the corner here. It's usually about an hour.
For people with four-wheel drive, the name of the game is rescuing those who get stuck.
It's kind of a winter sport of mine.
The spirit of helping neighbors and strangers seems to be contagious the worse the weather gets. As the day went on, more and more people we came across were helping, including this reporter. In Bismarck, I'm Joel Crane.